We're going small scale today, guys. It's a beautiful day out. I'm at the park and I've got a brand new Kyosho Miniz Land Rover Defender 90 here. My mission is to show you how much fun you could have with this little 4x4 just about anywhere. So if you're into Land Rovers and more specifically the D90, this model is not going to disappoint. It's absolutely awesome. Been staring at it for a little bit and there's so much detail to tell you guys about. First up, it is a hard body and it is factory painted. The dark green on the lower base, and then they have the white cap just like the real thing. The grille and the headlight bezels are painted in a matte black, and then the headlight lenses themselves are transparent, and they've actually got a little glob of glue behind it so you could pull that off, put LED lights in later. It has a front bumper. It's got the marker lights on the fenders and then the vents on the top of the fenders. Wiper blades, mirrors, transparent windows. They're tinted from the factory so you can't see all the wiring inside, and then you spin it around and they've got a spare tire. They even have the defroster lines in the rear window. I like the rear lights, and then a Defender license plate just to top this thing off. Wheels on this are pretty cool. I'm guessing they're a white painted steely style wheel, and then they just have a multi-terrain treaded rubber tire on it. It's really easy to get the body off of this. They've got these little spring tabs on the bottom. You just slide those in and the body will pop right off. And the chassis plates are actually metal on this ladder frame, which is really cool. The batteries sit up front and it uses 4 AAA batteries, which makes it really easy for anybody to find batteries and put them in here. The servo's mounted up front, standard steering links, and then for the suspension links, it does have steel rods, which is really cool for the lower links, and the shocks are a friction style shock, just springs for the rebound. Transmission's nestled into the center, and they give you a bag of extra gears, so if you want to swap out the gearing on this, get a little bit more speed, you could do it. It's set up for just general all-around use. They have slider drive shafts down to the front and rear axles, metal gears inside those, and ball bearings throughout this kit, which is really cool. I think the only thing I haven't mentioned yet is the 2-in-1 speed controller receiver combo. It sits out back here, and that links up with the Synchro radio system. And Kyosho does have some really good electronics, making this truck really easy to use. So let's go have some fun. First up, we'll get a top seat check, and there it is. In reverse is a little bit slower, as it should be. So guys, I kind of made a bad call here. This spot, not a lot of fun, but I just drove it over in the dirt and was having a blast with it there. So I know another spot where we can go to really show off this truck. So if you watch the channel a bunch, you probably recognize this spot. I'm back underneath the bridge, and I think this is gonna be my go-to spot for small scale rigs. It's got everything I need right here. So we just had a bunch of rain that totally changed up this terrain, and it's actually a lot more fun. There's some new challenges here, and this little sand washout has got a hill, and the Miniz has no problem hitting it. So one thing I noticed with the suspension, because it's basically just springs, if you go too fast, the body gets really wobbly, but if you go nice and slow, which this thing is capable of doing, it looks really scale. One thing's for sure with this truck, you gotta watch your lines, because if you got any big rocks in front of you, it'll hang up those axles. I've got to use some throttle control here. There's a drop off and some gnarly rocks to go through. I'm caught up a little bit, but we broke free. It almost went over. It's through. Awesome. This spot's gonna be a little tricky. We got some rough rock right here, made it through that, under the tree root, no problem, and now some soft sand, easy. Based on my experience with the Miniz 4x4, sometimes the center drive shaft can pop out on you, and it's a little bit of a pain to get back together. This isn't one of those scale rigs that you could bring to a walking trail. You really need to find a dedicated spot like this. And if you have something like this, you're gonna have a lot of fun with a Miniz. They're just so cool looking. The way they react to the rocks is pretty neat to watch. The throttle's smooth, the steering's good. I mean, it's a fun, drivable, really good looking model. I'll have links for it in the video description below, and keep an eye on the channel because I have another one of these that we're gonna turn into a project.